morning. I know I had kind of a smug look on my face. It was only because when I pushed the button to do what it was supposed to do, it didn't do it. So look, I'm going to say something right off the bat, because if you're watching this on the replay, which most people are going to be doing, I'm going to tell you this right up front. Number one, I'm going to get right into this content. I'm not going to mess around with a lot of Bob Doyle-like monologue at the beginning. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is this. At some point during this, and certainly at the end, I'm going to tell you about private coaching, that I'm launching private coaching, and I'm going to tell you how you can check it out. Okay? So I'm telling you that right now, and if you don't have time to listen to this whole thing or whatever, and you already know that this is something you at least want to explore, you can go there, boundlessliving.com/private coaching, check it out for yourself. Okay, now I'm going to revisit that obviously, but I wanted that upset up front, and now I'm going to get right into it. But first, I have to go join the rest of you over here. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Sarah. So, first of all, yes, this is not my normal time to do this, and I've been wanting to do this for a couple of days, and yesterday I felt a little not that great physically, and so today I am coming back feeling great. So here's the question that I asked in this. The title of this and the description of this video is this: do you ever have differing opinions than anyone else? Right? And the answer is, of course, yes. Now, here's what I want you to get, and I really want you to hear this, and I'm just coming right out of the barrel with it, and I want you to think about it, because this whole conversation is about you giving this some real thought. What does it tell you that you have a different opinion than someone else? It tells you that you are wired to interpret reality different than somebody else. People all over the world look at the exact same set of circumstances, energy, whatever, and we uniquely make it mean something, and that creates our reality and our truth, to the extent that we will have differing opinions from others about what truth is. But whose truth is more right? Now, we're wired to believe, of course, it's ours. On some level, we think that, or we wouldn't ever argue an opinion. No, you need to understand what I'm saying. Now, here's what now, if you can just get that you are creating your own unique experience of reality from how you're making things, what you're making things mean. If you can just own that, then, as I said in the description, that is the key to the kingdom. Because what it means is you have wiring that has been wired from external circumstances and also conversations you tell yourself that are always stimulated by external circumstances, something you saw, something someone told you. You've created a reality not only about what's out there, but about in here. Who you are, what you're capable of, what's true, what's big, what's little, what's abundance, what's poverty, what's tolerable, what's not. You've made it all up. And when you can get that there is no one way that you have to be or think, and that you can change it, because what happened was, for most people, we were wired unconsciously. We weren't being conscious about the data that was being brought in. We weren't going, does this feel good? Does this empower me? Do I want to think something different? We didn't know we could do that, so we just did what we did. And so now we grow up with all this limitation, or we have our own unique set of beliefs about what is possible, impossible, all that I already said. And yet other people have different opinions. They're wired differently. Same energy, same universe, same world, same planet, same everything energetically, except that we make it mean something unique. And these people who we look at as successes and having it all, they made different choices about how they were going to allow themselves to be wired. Or they were fortunate enough to be in an environment where they were wired just this way, so that they would see their own potential, so that they would believe in their values, so that they would go take action without second guessing. We all have that choice at any time in our lives to change the wiring up here. If we don't like our circumstances, we can change them. And I know this says law of attraction. I haven't even said that word once today so far because we don't even have to think about the law of attraction in this. It just happens automatically. If you'll do what I am talking about today, the law of attraction works on autopilot. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do vision boards. There's no tool or technique you have to remember or get right. Just start telling yourself more empowering things so that you get rewired. And now, when you start doing that, that's when we get into, well, your current wiring. Your current wiring manifests itself as the ego and tells you who you are. And you believe it, of course. It's part of you. You have no reason not to believe it. You've got all the evidence in the world to support it. But it's just one way of being wired. Now, when you decide, no, I want something different, I want something more, I want to feel happier instead of this, you're not wired that way yet. So that as you start that process of rewiring, telling yourselves those things, whether you use a vision board to begin with, whatever tools you want to use to start this process, great. You're going to get resistance. You're going to hear the voice that tells you exactly why you can't do this. And you have to understand that, of course, that's going to happen. But what happens is we just hear the truth of the voice, and then we don't take action. Or we continue to fight for our limitations, argue for them, point at all the things that said, no, look, see, all this happened to me. And this is just how it is. And you keep telling yourself that, and that's exactly what your experience is always, always, always going to be. So, in a nutshell, what I've been doing with my work with the law of attraction is helping people rewire, but I've never really approached it that way. I've never said it that way. I hadn't thought about it that way to the extent that I have in the past year and a half or so. It's all been on the focus of what is the law of attraction? What is the energy? What's the vibration? How do we move? All that stuff, all that law of attraction-y stuff. And I just see people get stuck in that. And I get it because, I mean, I was part of the problem, I guess, putting all that attention on just this is this. When the end result is who do you want to be? How do you want your life to feel? And too many people are stuck on the what's the law of attraction and how does it work? They're not spending enough time thinking and just really get into the feeling of what they want and who they will allow themselves to even dream to be. It is like a muscle that you have to stretch. This imagination, this loving yourself, this creating a vision for yourself that's huge. You have to, and that's literally what it's like because now you're starting to create new wiring, new neural pathways, new ideas. And as you keep feeding them, they will get stronger and the other ones will wither. And then you won't be able to see reality like you are now. Once you get there, to the same degree that you have a problem imagining yourself with everything you want in your life, that same degree, you will have the same degree of wondering, how did I ever think that way about myself, so limiting, once you rewire, because it changes your lens. We're all looking through a lens. And we've called that lens reality. It's just one version. So, how do you change your wiring? You got to know, number one, how do you want to change it? Yeah, I know you're very clear on what's not working, what you don't like. I get all that. How do you want it to be? Hi, Patricia. Start putting get really clear. And then that how do you want it to feel? And what's going to happen is all that stuff I said about the resistance, your ego's going to kick in. What do you do then? Do you have the skill set, the ability to transcend that voice on an ongoing basis so that you never have to get sucked into it again? So that you never have to buy what it's telling you, even though you've got all this quote unquote evidence showing you that the limiting voice is speaking the truth. It only occurs that way because you've listened to it and you have acted in accordance with your thoughts about what's possible for yourself. It's all about action. The people who you see successful, etc., they took different action than you. And what stops you from taking the action is a couple things. One, knowing what action to take, and then having the courage to take it when your ego says no. And there's a couple of things that help you to take that action. One is trusting the process, knowing that what I'm saying is true, and that if you do what I say to do here, you will rewire and your whole life will change. So believing that. And then there's the doing of it. Even when it gets really hard. And when you start this process in your life, and I've talked about this a million zillion times, when you start really taking on a big change in your life, there is no guarantee that the people around you are going to be on board. So what do you do? Because it's really tough when you've got this really positive vision and it's filling your heart with joy and all of this other stuff, and people keep looking at you like you're crazy and telling you can't do it. It's very hard, especially if those people are the people you love the most in your life. So you obviously need support. And not support from just a bunch of other people who, quote unquote, believe in the law of attraction and are struggling just like you. This is why coaching exists, right? So that you get somebody else who can see things like you absolutely can't. You absolutely can't until someone shows you that it's even a possibility. The reason you can't is because you're just not wired to. Your lens doesn't see it. And a lot of times, people might even reflect back to you nice things, let's say. They compliment you. They talk about your value. They show you, and you reject it because you can't see it. You don't believe it. They're looking at it. They're saying, what are you talking about? You're awesome. And you can't see it. There are tools in a coach's toolbox that can help you get past that part so that you can see it. Because until you do, guess what? You're never going to be able to create that vision with you in it. Hi, Christine. Hi, Ames. Share the love. Take a sip of coffee. Push that button. So, I believe that taking this approach to this whole law of attraction thing is way more effective than getting caught up in the technique 1, 2, 3. Know it, yes. Understand it, absolutely. Especially if you're just challenged with how could all this work. But look, you know what? I could coach a person from where they are to where they want to be without ever saying law of attraction. Because it's about so much more than that. And like I said at the beginning, when you just take the actions, when you allow yourself the vision and the feeling, all the vibration stuff, it's just going to happen. And as per the law of attraction, things will show up, and you'll know what action to take because you'll be confident, because you are becoming that confident person. This whole thing about who are you going to be, it's just the most important thing. So much more important than the money and the relationship and everything else is secondary or more than who are you going to be, because that defines every aspect of your experience of life. You're going to be happy. You're going to be carefree. You're going to be abundant. You're going to be loving. You're going to be a hermit. You're going to be whatever. You get to define it. And you know what? there's no right way to be. If you want to be a hermit, if that calls to you, then stop beating yourself up for feeling that way. Just go be it and live a happy life. Now, if you're being a hermit and you feel like your soul is calling you to be something more, then let's make that happen. Don't judge who you want to be, but own it. Because until you do, you're never going to show up powerfully enough, A, on a law of attraction vibration level to move into alignment with the environment or the experience of reality that supports that way of being. And then whatever the other thing I was going to say. I have to stop looking over at comments while I'm in the middle of a sentence. So for the past year or so, the way that I have been helping to facilitate transformation is in our group coaching programs. But recently I've had a lot of people that it hasn't happened like this before, so I'm paying attention to it, that have wanted private coaching. Bing. And honestly, I resisted a bit because I was so excited about what was happening in group coaching. But I had the realization last week that, you know what, if resonates with private coaching, and I enjoy doing it anyway, so let's do it. Let's do it. But here's the thing. I've done private coaching in the past, and it's been a lot of law of attraction centric and stuff like this. I'm doing it going to be way different this time. You know. And here's the thing to understand about, like, number one, I want the opportunity to have a conversation with whoever wants to think about private coaching, but there's no guarantee that that's going to result in a long-term coaching relationship. Why? Because it's not always a perfect match for every single personality. Believe me, I have taken coaching clients that my gut told me don't take, and it was a nightmare. And I'll never ever do it again. I want to coach people who want to coach with me, right? Who aren't going to squawk about money and all that other stuff. They want the result. Because here's the other thing about coaching in general, when you start talking about coaching, how much? And you give them a price, and then they say, how many sessions is that? And they go, bum. What? That's $500 a session. No. Coaching is not about sessions. That's like a fraction of it. Coaching is about you changing your everyday life activity. It is an investment in changing your whole freaking life. It is not an investment of 10 hours of somebody's time. And if that's the way you approach coaching, we're definitely not a match. Because if you come into a coaching relationship thinking, okay, coach, you do it all, because I paid you this per hour, you'd better fix me. Well, I'm not your coach. Because I expect a relationship where we are both on board with your vision. My job, hold you accountable certainly, see things you can't see, give you the tools and the resources you need to get past that point where you're stopped, right? To believe in you, to be a stand for you when you can't be. And that doesn't just happen when we're on a call. It happens on all the emails between, everything in between. So, what I'm doing this time, and a long time ago, the model would be like, let's have a free strategy session or a discovery call, whatever we called it back then. That always just sort of, let's have a conversation, see if we're a fit, ramp up to, here's the coaching program, right? Well, I've done enough of those free calls to know that that's not valuable to people overall. Because if they're tire kicking, then that just says a lot. So what I'm doing now, if you are interested in pursuing this, is I'm offering a session, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, and instead of $500, it's $297. You're paying for it. You're investing in this hour so that you will show up ready to receive and take action on what we talk about. Because we're not just having a conversation to see if you're going to buy long-term coaching. We're there to get you in action towards something, to get you unstuck in a way. A lot can happen in 45 minutes to an hour if you come to play. But if you're back there going, I wonder what the coasting going to cost and all this other stuff, then you're not there for what I want to be there for. The idea is we have an amazing experience together. And then you want to work together, and I want to work with you. But if it's not amazing at the end of 45 minutes or an hour, if you don't go, oh, absolutely, then okay, we're not a fit. But I will tell you that if you'll do the things I tell you in that hour, your life can change dramatically. It's will you do them when left to your own devices? And you can answer that question honestly, probably right now. And if the answer is probably not, then you have to decide, how important is this vision of mine? How badly do I want this? Because I'm telling you that it's just the gap between here and there is action. You might need to learn something, talk to somebody, just get better at something, whatever, whatever. It's action. What action to take can be shown to you if you learn how to develop your intuition. And to that extent, we absolutely talk about that in coaching. And that's where it becomes helpful to understand what the law of attraction is all about and all that energy stuff. It's not essential, though. So, I want to declassify myself as a law of attraction coach. Because I don't want to coach people on the law of attraction. I want to coach people into their lives, the lives they really will love. We will use the law of attraction, if necessary, as a tool. Right? But some people just get hung up on that. They get way too hung up on it. Am I using the tool right? Okay, forget the tool. You're not a good candidate for the tool. Let's just get back into what excites you. What are those feelings that feel really great? How are you going to be out there in the world? Describe your day. Who are you being then that you're not being now? And how does that feel? I'm reading now. Do I believe in trapped emotions? Absolutely. Yeah, it's all energy, and I do believe in that whole concept of I don't know what stuck really looks like if you were to see energy, but there's definitely a little program that is continually running. To me, it helps to talk about it like programs. We live in a computer age. Everybody understands what that is, and literally is like software running. We're the computer, the software is running, and we can upgrade it. And like my friend Andy Shaw talks about all the time, we've got viruses running. So this work is about being the antivirus, right? It's not my paradigm. He said it first. But, well, he may not have said it first, but he did say it. Anyway, doesn't matter. You know what I mean. So, when you enter into a coaching relationship and you look at the dollar amount or whatever, you have to decide, remember what you're purchasing. You're not purchasing my time. You're putting skin in the game. That's real energy. This is a commitment that says, I love myself enough to do this. Okay? That's powerful in and of itself. Right? But this is about all the time we spend together and then for the rest of your life. It is not an investment in 90 days. I hope you understand that, because that's why so many people, their ego is like, they do math and they calculate, that's a lot of money for your time. Well, number one, no, it's not. And number two, that's not what you're buying. So, now, in terms of working with me, it's like, okay, well, why you? All right, well, look, the other thing about how I want to coach with people is I want them to know who I am when they come in the door. I don't want people to coach with me because I was in the secret and just assume that, oh, well, he's just he's one of those guys. That's no way to make that's not how you make a decision. I mean, look, I'm grateful for the secret and it does speak to some credibility. But I want people to coach with me because they know at least a little bit about how I do this. Watch a few of the Law of Attraction Q&As. You'll get a good idea of my style, my demeanor. Will we connect? Will you have fun with this? Right? Or, we have that hour. You spend the $297. We have a kick-ass hour, and then you can decide. But be ready to have fun with the process, because one of the things I resisted about one-on-one coaching was it felt more serious because there's this one-on-one. I'm not playing to a crowd. My personality is I like to do shtick, I like to do humor, and make that work with the teaching. Make it more accessible. Make this fun. And so one-on-one, it's a little bit of a different dynamic. I can't just go off on a weird riff because that's just weird. But we're going to have fun, because I don't think that it's anybody's goal to create a vision, a life filled with all this crazy heaviness around the topic of fulfilling their dream. It should be a fun experience. What do we got? We got Bruno. Robert, I'll have to revisit your question. Takes yourself to fix the problem. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, I'm not sure there's much more I need to say. Look, if you go to this page, I will say this. Now, you're going to go to this page, and what you're going to see there for the most part is testimonials from people who did my group coaching. Because honestly, everybody knows who's been watching me that everything internet marketing is bugging me these days, right? And I don't want to sit there and go, oh, I have to redo this whole web page before I share private coaching. I mean, I get it. And all my marketer friends would say, you're doing this all wrong. And I'd say, that's why I don't hang out with you people anymore. Again, if a random person were to search private coaching, The Secret, whatever, and find my page and because it's talking about group or whatever, they go, wait, well, that's not, I want them to know what I'm about anyway. So to me, this is how I talk to people these days, right? I hardly use email and so on. That page is there because there needs to be a page, a place for you to click a button. But look, those testimonials, those videos there, it'll still give you, even though the context is group coaching, hopefully it will give you some sense of what it is just to work with me. Right? And if the energy of those people, if what they're saying about that part of the experience resonates with you, then get the hour and let's figure it out. Let's see. I promise you though, because even if $297 seems like a lot, then I really want you to evaluate how important your vision is to you, because I'm telling you right now that in that hour I will tell you some action to take that if you do it, it will change everything. It's will you do it? And it'll be unique to your situation. I'm not going to give you some blanket law of attraction, well, release resistance and boom, you're off, right? No, we're going to find out what we need to do to get the trajectory going, and then whatever you want to do after that is up to you. Does anyone have any questions? Bruno, I'm going to augment what you said here, because you're not just purchasing knowledge. I don't want anybody just to know more stuff. You're purchasing an entire transformative experience wherein you are taking massive action in a way that you haven't before with the guidance of some coaching. I'm not doing your transformation for you. I'm not taking your action. I do get to share in the experience of your transformation, though, and that's awesome. I'm going to answer Robert's. vMix is what I use. vMix is the software, because I'll forget. Okay. Well, I'm going to put this up here one more time. I'll do probably a couple of versions of this video again live, or I'll just post the crap out of this one. Maybe edit it down where I don't talk about vMix in it. But if you are in a community of people who are interested in this stuff, I would invite you to share this video with them. Introduce them to me if they aren't, they don't know me. If you know anybody in your life who's been, interested in coaching, or of course, if you're that person, go check it out and let's see what happens. Because believe me, I am so committed to people shifting the focus from this process of the law of attraction work to just living the lives they want, right? And I really believe that I can shortcut this process for you, right? And that's what I want to do. Whoops, and I'm going to push this button again. All right, everyone, you are all awesome, as you know. To join me impromptu on a Sunday morning like this with no warning whatsoever, that's special. And I appreciate you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, everyone. This is the best place to hang out.